special edition of the Indie Author Life show. My name is MG Hunt, and today I am going to be giving you all a bit of an update into my own indie author life. So, as some of you are probably already aware, I am an indie author that writes elemental magic novels that are mostly young adult based. I do have a short story called Ilara and the Passing, which is in the new adult space, but my debut novel, Still Waters Run Deep, which is this shiny little glory here, is a YA fantasy novel centering around worlds of hidden elemental magic. So I'm coming to you all today with an episode just kind of giving you an update about what's been going on in my world, and in particular the exciting things that are happening behind the scenes, because I am moving swiftly along with getting ready to release my next novel, Darkness in the Flesh, the story of Gatira. I'm so excited. It is going to be released 10th of September 2026. So as of this day where I'm filming on, it's middle of June, so it's winter here in Melbourne, where I am based, and I'm a bit jealous of the summer that is going on in the Northern Hemisphere, but there is a lot to be done behind the scenes from my end. So I thought I would give you all an insight into where I am in my own book launch timeline, but also give you an update about what's been going on in my indie author life as a whole. So I feel like winter is always a bit of an introspective time for a lot of people, but I feel that it's come at a perfect time for me to focus a lot on what I want to do with planning the marketing and the marketing sort of program, if you call it, for the release of Darkness in the Flesh. So as of this point today in the middle of June, I am currently in the throes of working with my editor to get Darkness in the Flesh ready to go for all of its editing checks, so to speak. It's very exciting. Love the editing process, because I always feel that my editor, shout out to Laura from Hummingbird Editing, she always educates me in one way or another on how I can improve my writing. And I think that's important as, you know, someone who is passionate about telling stories, is to always feel like I'm learning something. I'll be the first to admit that sometimes writing doesn't come naturally to me. I find that drawing and illustrating, that's where like I guess that's more my comfort zone. So when it comes to writing a story that I want to tell besides drawing it, I find that I kind of need a bit of help sometimes. Look, it's not to say that I don't give it a go and give it my all, and I haven't had other opportunities to write at a tertiary level with doing my arts degree in sociology and all that stuff, but that's a different kind of writing. So one thing that I am thankful for with the editing process is learning, a little bit more about some ways to tighten up my grammar and even the dialogue tags in particular. I think I struggle with dialogue in particular with getting my writing out there. I'm, not ashamed to admit that I sometimes do struggle with sometimes the basic writing conventions in some ways. I think that there's no shame in admitting the parts of your writing process that you feel a little bit like need to be worked on a bit. I think that we're all human, and I think that every single author will have a certain part of writing that they feel like they struggle with. I don't feel like I'm a master of writing, but I have learnt to really embrace that it's okay to not only make mistakes, but also work really in tandem with your editor to improve on your skills and use it as a learning opportunity to make the book as good as it can be. And yeah, it's always, I really respect my editor's skills and her ability to pick out the things that I need to work on. So I think it's going very well with our editing process that we're doing there. So that makes me so excited for the next updates that I have for you all about Darkness in the Flesh. So where Darkness in the Flesh is right now is in the editing process. But as perhaps some of you have seen on social media, the cover is ready to go. The cover has been made, and I actually made that cover, gosh, just trying to think now, a couple of months ago. So I kind of already had a vision for what I wanted the cover to be, which I'll put on the screen here if you'd like to have a look. But for people that are just listening, I'll describe it to you. So Darkness in the Flesh, the cover has similar font to Still Waters Run Deep, which I'll also just hold up here on this side. So Darkness in the Flesh and Still Waters Run Deep use the same font. So another, if you don't already know, I designed my own covers myself as I'm a graphic designer. But Darkness in the Flesh and Still Waters Run Deep, and if you have read Alara and the Passing, they all have the same font used. Now, Alara and the Passing doesn't have all the title all in capitals, but Still Waters Run Deep does, and so does Darkness in the Flesh. But you'll also see that the colours are a little bit different, of course. You know, you've got to differentiate them. Yes, anyway. Where Darkness in the Flesh is a purple or indigo colour. I will be really excited. I can't wait to get my hands on my proof copy of Darkness in the Flesh, because I can't wait to see those purple indigo colours pop. I really have a vision for what I want that colour to look like. So I'm excited to get my hands on this cover in the physical form. But also, to describe the cover, there is a white border around the text in the frame, so it frames the text around the border of the book, and that's one theme that I will continue to have on my covers, is that I will be having a border around the edges of my books, and in those borders will always be a nod to the element that is maybe the main elemental magic system that will be focused on in the book. So for those that are familiar with my work, Still Waters Run Deep really follows the element of water, because we have Asta, the main character, who is an elemental affinity. A water affinity. Gosh, I've got to get my own terminology right. So she can control water magic. So with Darkness in the Flesh, this border has some circles in it. There are lots of lines, but there's also lots of curves and circles. And the reason for that is because we are looking at the dark element, which is called Oscura in Darkness in the Flesh. And that is like the proper terminology for that element, which I won't say too much about now. If you're interested in reading more about it, you've got to check it out on the 10th of September. But the circles are very relevant to the dark element, because they're, and I won't give away too much, but circles and rope and perhaps portals are synonymous with dark magic in my elemental universe. So do with that information what you will. Round things. That's all I'll say. But I've made sure to capture those icons in my border on the cover for Darkness in the Flesh. The blurb is still being worked on, so I won't show you the reverse of the cover, but on the front of the cover, there's also a little bit of a smoky element in the back, which is just like a bit of dark smoke in a darker indigo colour behind the text, and that also is alluding to like the misty covering sort of nature of the dark Oscura magic. So that's a bit of an insight into the cover design. I love designing covers. I used to find it quite intimidating to think about designing covers for my own books, but I've learned to just embrace it, because at the end of the day, no one will know my story as much as I do. So I should use the graphic design skills that I have to design something that I know wholeheartedly and in and out and everything like that. So that is where the cover is for Darkness in the Flesh. Another update that I have for you all about Darkness in the Flesh is the formal release of all the major characters in the Darkness in the Flesh book. And by formal release, I mean the illustrations that I have made for Darkness in the Flesh, which I will pop on the screen here now. So we have all of our characters designed, the main characters that are in the book. So on the bottom level of, because there's about, how many are in this illustration? We have 7, 3 on the bottom, 3 in the middle, 1 at the top. Okay. So for those that are listening, I'll try my best to describe what each of the characters look like. But on the bottom part of this image, we have the 3 youngest characters. We have Freyas on this side with the red hair and maybe some water around her, because she represents the character who has water magic. Then we have Hestio on the other side, who is the one with the blonde hair and pale skin, and he has some air floating around him. And for those that have read Still Waters Run Deep, you might be familiar with Hestio, because he does make an appearance in Still Waters Run Deep, albeit a lot older than his teenage self described and shown in this image here. And then finally, in the center of those 3, we have Gatira, who is in the center of this picture, and she is holding or conjuring this dark rope from her hands. So we see Gatira in more of a realistic human shape, because Gatira, as you might not already be aware of, is the evil character in Still Waters Run Deep. But in Darkness in the Flesh, she is our, I guess, anti-hero. And she is very much alive in this book. That is not a spoiler alert for what she is, what form she is in Still Waters Run Deep. But if you've read Still Waters Run Deep, the character of Gatira is this undead scholar who has who has blue skin, lifeless eyes, and a lot older than the form that she is in this book, where Darkness in the Flesh follows Gatira when she, pretty much for most of her 17-year-old life, and she follows her path into discovering more about herself, and we follow the arc of the story and the person that she will become. So those are the main 3 at the bottom. And then above that, we have some other characters. We've got Prion on the side here, who has, that gorgeous bronzed skin and dark hair. He's a good-looking individual. I think that has been the feedback that I've received from some of my friends. So yes, keep an eye out for him. I won't say any more until you read the book. Then in the center, we'll go to the other side. We have the character called Lasala, who is Prion's sister. And as you can see, Lasala has a very similar appearance to maybe how we know Gatira in Still Waters Run Deep, with the blue skin, the lifeless eyes and all that. And you wonder, how did she become that? Was she always like that? I don't know. Anyway, and then in the center of the drawing, we have Grandmother. Grandmother is a formidable character in Still Waters Run Deep. A formidable character in Darkness in the Flesh, who has a profound impact on Gatira's life. I will say no more until you read. But rest assured that grandmother she is a legend. She is iconic. She is all knowing and all powerful. And I think she holds a very special place in Gatira's heart. But then above those three, at the very top, we have Saphira. And Saphira is also a formidable force in Darkness in the Flesh. And she is grandmother's sister. Saphira is very interesting. I feel like that's all I can say without giving anything away, but she will be someone who Gatira has to reckon with. And there will be lots of conflicting moments in Gatira and Saphira's relationship. So that is all I will say about our characters that have been revealed for Darkness in the Flesh. I hope you enjoy this illustration as well. I've really enjoyed making it. I love drawing. So as you know, I'm very excited to see this vision come to life. All right, well, that will be enough about Darkness in the Flesh from me. So as far as what's going on in my own indie author life world, I have a lot of events coming up for the rest of the year. And I've already had a busy couple of months beforehand with, starting off strong at the start of the year with Enchanted Readers and Authors event in January, where I also presented at that event and did a workshop there. Then in February, there was Book Fair Australia. And then in March, there was Clunes Booktown. In April, we had 1,000 Lives convention. Then May was full on. We had the Ages of Pages book event in Hamilton, New Zealand, my first international book event, which if you have been following me on this journey, that book event almost didn't happen for me because my luggage got lost the day before when I was flying from Melbourne to Auckland. Oh, yeah, that was one hell of a day. So if you want to know more about that, there's a short form video about my experience with that I will link in the show notes if you want to relive that experience with me. But safe to say that it all worked out and it was such a fantastic event. I just, really, really, really enjoyed my time in New Zealand. But also, again, I can't thank my beautiful author bestie SK Stapar for helping me in that time as well, and her sister and her family. I know I've said this before, but they have really been so wonderful and so helpful for not just that moment, but SK Stapar and I have also been catching up and chatting a lot because she's in Melbourne as well. So we've really formed such a beautiful author friendship with each other, and it means the world to me that I have been able to form such a close friendship with her, and I just think she's amazing. So also check out her books too, which are Midnight Gate, and the next one is Fire Dawn Gate that just got released in March this year. So you got to check out her stuff, and I've got some pictures of us actually because we've been at a few events together that I keep on my desk. It's just so important to have friends in the author space. Shout out also to Jess McFarlane, who has released her final book of the Erasgane series, King of Stags. She's based in Benalla, Victoria. We actually shared a table together this year at Book Fair Australia, so you might have seen some content related with that. But I'm so excited for Jess with her latest release, King of Stags, the final book in the Erasgane series. So if you love the historical romance and Irish folklore, get onto this series. I love it. And she's actually working on a new project now, and I believe it's called Unaware, and it's a werewolf series. A series? It might just be one book. Correct me if I'm wrong, Jess. so sorry if I'm wrong with that. But I just also want to shout out all of the amazing people that have been in my circle when it comes to the author community and the author world. One thing that never ceases to amaze me is how people come together in this space to support each other, and the friendships that I've made and continue to make throughout my time in this author space just means so much to me. And the other beautiful authors that I met at my time in Adelaide in particular. Oh yeah, because that was another event that I went to as well in May. ARA 26. My goodness, that was one of my favourite events that I've done so far. Also, you might have already seen, but I did an episode with the organiser of that fantastic event, Jess Weber, from the First Chapter Bookshop in Adelaide, who ran ARA. My God, beautiful person, inspiring person, because she ran ARA, A Romantic Affair. She is the one person running that show for an event that has so many authors. Just wonderful, absolutely wonderful person. So shout out to Jess Weber as well. Just so amazed with what she does in this space. And on that note, I should wrap up this special little bonus episode. I hope you've enjoyed this little update into the Darkness in the Flesh and all that exciting stuff coming about that new release. I should also announce too that there will be a formal book launch event for Darkness in the Flesh on the 11th of September at the fantastic lfie Bookshop in Ashburton. I'm so excited to go there. I have been going to Ashburton many times in my life. It was not too far from where I grew up as well, so holds a special place in my heart. So if you can't attend in person, there's also going to be a live streaming of the event, of which I will do on Instagram Live. I also will record the event as well and put that on my Substack YouTube channel, probably podcast form audio as well, for people that if you can't attend the event, you want to listen in, there's options too. So that's all I have for you today. If you like my stuff, feel free to subscribe on Substack, give this video a like, follow on my Instagram, the Indie Author Life Show, or at mghunt.author to hear more updates around my indie author life / journey. I hope you're all staying warm or staying cool wherever you are in the world, and I hope that you are all staying safe. Take care, everyone, and see you in the next episode. Bye. Thank you so much for listening or watching the Indie Author Life Show. I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. If you'd like to know more about some of our other fantastic authors and other creatives in the indie author space, please check out our Substack, which is Indie Author Life Show. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider giving us a like, a follow, subscribe to hear more about stories from the indie author self-published space. Finally, if you want to know more about the books that I write under the name MG Hunt, you can check out my books Still Waters Run Deep and Elara and the Passing on my website, which will be in the show notes below. Thanks so much for tuning in, and hope to see you in the next episode. Take care.